Hey, so, if you probably haven't noticed already, if you haven't checked your notifications, if you haven't seen it yet, they came out with the Resident Evil trailer for the new Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. And I watched it. Not gonna lie, I liked it. I'm a Resident Evil fan. I haven't played all of them, but I grew up playing some of the classic ones, like the original and Resident Evil 2. Specifically Resident Evil 2. I didn't do the first one very much just because I didn't have that one. And none of my friends really had that one. But I did eventually get to play it back in middle school. Because the kids in the class had put a bunch of emulators on all the PCs, so I was able to play the games on that, using that. But, oh boy. As much as I liked it, I like it because it actually looks Resident Evil. It closely follows the first two, it looks like, kind of merging them together. I will admit that does seem like it might be a problem with the pacing, but at least they're going more accurate, going for accuracy, with it being a horror survival game, with this one being a horror survival movie, more so than the Milla Jovovich films. And this is another case of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, it's to the point of people should just stop watching movies in general. Should stop playing video games, should stop watching movies, should stop getting excited for movies or doing anything. Because no matter what the fuck these companies do, like, they make a Resident Evil franchise. Ends up being heavily inaccurate and people hate it. Okay. They make a Resident Evil. They release a trailer for the upcoming Resident Evil movie that shows to be more accurate to the games. To be extremely accurate to the games. And people immediately fucking shit on it. Just the entire comment sections for the Resident Evil trailers are that it's a very shit looking movie. That the director does not know anything about Resident Evil. Even though, in the breakdown, he all he fucking talks about, more so than the trailer, are the games. The classic games. And the remakes. And even fucking Resident Evil Code Veronica. It's to the point of people should just stop watching movies and playing video games altogether, because no matter what the fuck these companies do, they are never fucking satisfied. 2015, Arkham Knight. Big example of this. People were bitching and begging for them to finally put the Batmobile in the Arkham games. And in Arkham Knight, they add the Batmobile, and people hated it because there was too much of the Batmobile. Like, okay, you wanted the fucking Batmobile in the game. So, which is it? Too much or none at all? Let's see. Guardians of the Galaxy. People were wanting a tried and true Guardians of the Galaxy game for a while because of the movies. But when that was announced, people hated it just because it's made by the same people who made Avengers, so it's gonna be an Avengers-style Guardians of the Galaxy game. Like, great. I figured that's what people want, with it being a big-budget superhero team game. Okay. People have been wanting a video game with Ghost Rider and Wolverine for a while. They announced Midnight Suns, something I'm extremely excited for. but people hate it because it's a fucking card game. What stupid dumbass came up with a fucking Marvel card game? Like, not every video game has to be a big budget beat 'em up. Not every video game has to be that. Not every Marvel game has to be, oh, I get to play as the Hulk smashing bad guys, smashing buildings. Not every Marvel game has to be that. Like, me personally, I'll be happy playing a tactical card-based RPG game in the style of XCOM. Like, I'd be cool with that. That actually seems interesting because we haven't had a Marvel game of that style. Okay? So I'm like, cool. This is going to be awesome. Plus, it's based off of one of my favorite comic book teams. Actually, based off of my most favorite comic book team, I mean to say. Not one of my most favorite comic book team. Second being Avengers, third being X-Men. Used to be Fantastic Four, but to be honest, they haven't really had very much going for them for a while. Let's see. The PlayStation Expo. People were so excited to just see games for God of War, for Spider-Man. And if you remember correctly, the comment sections down below were just spamming with vomit emojis, L's, and just all around bad. Or, most recently, Ghost Recon. People have been waiting for our new Ghost Recon game to see what the big announcement was. But as soon as they announced that it was a Battle Royale game, people just started trashing on it immediately. Like, great. Apparently, nobody's allowed to do anything the same or different. So at this point, it's beginning to translate to people just don't want things in general. People just don't want movies being made. People don't want video games being made because at this point, them doing so just sparks hatred. I don't know about you, but there's still a bunch of other people who do like movies and video games. But when people are just actively trashing on them before they get released, or as soon as they get announced or revealed, or get a trailer for them, it ruins the experience for other fucking people. I know that's funny saying that to a generation of people that only fucking care about themselves. Like, just because something isn't up to their standards, no one else can enjoy it. Like, great. Cool fucking story. You're not the only person in the fucking world. Like, I'm personally excited for it. The upcoming Resident Evil movie, because I'm a Resident Evil fan, and this seems to be almost directly frame for fucking frame the video games. Almost. There are little discrepancies, like the way Leon looks now. He does look a little different compared to the video games, but everyone else seems about the same. I will admit, my biggest my biggest nitpick of this trailer and of this casting so far is I feel like Tom Hopper would have been better suited to play Chris Redfield rather than Robbie Amell. I just think that Tom Hopper is a little too big and bulky to be playing Wesker. And I know that's who he's going to be supposed to be playing, but in the comics, not in the comics, but in the video games, Wesker is supposed to be very lean. Let's just say. He's supposed to be very lean. He's muscular, but he's not big and bulky. He's athletic. He's fit, you know? He looks like someone who would fit in an MMA fight. You know? That kind of style. Whereas Tom Hopper, I don't feel shares that. I've seen him in other projects, and I feel he's just a little too big and bulky. A little too stocky for Wesker. However, he could have fit perfectly as like a Resident Evil 5 version of Chris Redfield, you know? But I'm okay with it. People were saying that the worst people were Leon and Jill. Leon, I can see why people don't like him, just because he doesn't really look much like the video game iteration of Leon. But apparently, personality-wise, he's supposed to be going for more of the classic Resident Evil 2, so I'm okay with it. Jill, I personally didn't really have a problem with. Like, I didn't really have a problem with the way with the actress they had playing her. I liked her in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like, I can't really say she looks much like the video games, but then again, the video games, especially the classic ones, like, the remake, I can't say the remake. The remake did create a decent look of what Jill Valentine would look like in that universe, but keep in mind, this is supposed to be a movie adaptation. It's not exactly going to be the exact same thing. Like, moments from the video games are going to happen in the movie. Seem to look like they're going to happen in the movie, but I don't think it's going to be but I don't think they were going for character to screen for this casting. I think they were just going for who do they think acts the most like what they're envisioning for these characters. And I think that's fine to me. That's fine. But it just sucks that people were just finding enjoyment out of ruining everybody else's enjoyment in this way. Just people were and here's the worst part. They're not just being toxic about the movie. They were even being toxic towards me. Like, the one guy. This one guy was like, during the breakdown video, was like, this guy wouldn't know Resident Evil if Mr. X punched him in the face. I'm like, okay, and how would you know that? Cry about it some more, you little fucking crybaby. Like, great. I wasn't crying. I just asked you how you know this person's personal life. That's great. I just asked you a legitimate question and you fucking snapped at me. Okay then. So, it's to the point of, I think people are just genuinely deciding they want to spend their entire lives being assholes to people. Not just shitting on movies, but also just berating people just for existing in the same space as them. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys later.